The vane shear test is used for the in-situ determination of the undrained strength of the intact fully saturated A. sands, B. clays, C. gravels, D. highly organic soils. The correct answer is clays. Fundamental relationship between dry density D. bulk density and water content is A, B, D, C, D. The correct answer is D. The specific gravity of quartz is A 2.65, B 2.72, C 2.85, D 2.90. The correct answer is 2.65. If the cohesive force C is 1.5 Tm2, the density of the soil is 2.0 Tm3, factor of safety F is 1.5 and stability factor Sn is 0.05. The safe height of the lope is A 5 meters, B 8 meters, C 10 meters, D 12 meters. The correct answer is 10 meters. If W1, W2, W3 and W4 are the sequential weights obtained during observations in pycnometer method for determining water content, the formula to be used is AW, BW, CW, DW. The correct answer is W. Psi particles. A. show dilatancy, B. swell when moist, C. possess high strength when dry, D. disintegrate easily. The correct answer is show dilatancy. If the backfill is having a uniform surcharge of intensity Q per unit area, the lateral pressure will be A. Q times the lateral pressure within the surface, B. 1 Q times the lateral pressure within the surface, C. equal to a fill of height Z equal to Q R, where R is the density of the backfill, D. none of these. The correct answer is equal to a fill of height Z equal to Q R, where R is the density of the backfill. Pick up the correct statement from the following. A. Isotropic consolidation of clay can be obtained in the triaxial apparatus under equal all-round pressure. B. If the present effective stress is the maximum to which the clay has ever been subjected, it is called normally consolidated clay. C. If the present effective stress in the past was more than present effective stress, it is called over-consolidated clay. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. Through a point in a loaded soil, the principal stress is maximum on A. minor principal plane, B. intermediate principal plane, C. major principal plane, D. none of these. The correct answer is major principal plane. Maximum size of clay particles is A. 0.002 millimeters, B. 0.04 millimeters, C. 0.06 millimeters, D. 0.08 millimeters. The correct answer is 0.002 millimeters. The capillary rise of water. A. depends upon the force responsible. B. increases as the size of the soil particles increases. C. decreases as the size of the soil particles decreases. D. is less in wet soil than in dry soil. The correct answer is depends upon the force responsible. If dry density, water density, and specific gravity of solids of a given soil sample are 1.6 GCC, 1.84 GCC, and 2.56 respectively, the porosity of the soil sample is A. 0.375, B. 0.370, C. 0.380, D. 0.390. The correct answer is 0.375. Terzaghis analysis assumes A. soil is homogeneous and isotropic. B. elastic zone has straight boundaries inclined at to the horizontal and plastic zones fully developed. C. Failure zones do not extend above the horizontal plane through the base of the footing. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. The fundamental equation of air content AC, degree of saturation SR, and void ratio E is AAC, BAC, CAC, DAC1 ESR. The correct answer is AC. A soil sample has passing 0.075 mm sieve 60, liquid limit 65, and plastic limit 40. The group index of the soil is A5, B20, C40, D. None of these. The correct answer is none of these. The plasticity index is the numerical difference between A. Liquid limit and plastic limit, B. Plastic limit and shrinkage limit, C. Liquid limit and shrinkage limit, D. None of these. The correct answer is liquid limit and plastic limit. The fundamental equation of specific gravity G, dry density D, unit weight of water, and void ratio E is AE, BG, CD, D. The correct answer is D. Negative skin friction on piles. A is caused due to relative settlement of the soil. B is caused in soft clays. C decreases the pile capacity. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. The ultimate bearing capacity of a soil is A. Total load on the bearing area, B. Safe load on the bearing area, C. Load at which soil fails, D. Load at which soil consolidates. The correct answer is load at which soil fails. A moist soil sample of volume 60 cc weighs 108 g and its dried weight is 86.4 g. If its absolute density is 2.52, the degree of saturation is A. 54, B. 64, C. 74, D. 84. The correct answer is 84. The passive earth pressure of a soil is proportional to where is the angle of internal friction of the soil. A. tan 45, B. tan 45, C. tan 245, D. tan 245. The correct answer is tan 245. If a soil undergoes a change in shape and volume by application of external loads over it but recovers its shape and volume immediately after removal of the load, the property of the soil is said to be A. resilience of soils, B. elasticity of soils, C. compressibility of soils, D. none of these. The correct answer is elasticity of soils. The void ratio of a soil sample decreases from 1.50 to 1.25 when the pressure is increased from 25 tons m2 to 50 tons m2. The coefficient of compressibility is A. 0.01, B. 0.02, C. 0.05, D. 0.001. The correct answer is 0.01. The maximum water content at which a reduction in water content does not cause a decrease in volume of a soil mass is known. A. Liquid limit, B. Plastic limit, C. Shrinkage limit, D. Permeability limit. The correct answer is shrinkage limit. A sample of saturated soil has 30 water content and the specific gravity of soil grains is 2.6. The dry density of the soil mass in GCM3 is A. 1.47, B. 1.82, C. 1.91, D. none of these. The correct answer is 1.47. If the coefficients of volume change and compressibility of a soil sample are respectively 6.75 x 10⁻² and 3 x 10⁻², the void ratio of the soil sample is A. 1.10, B. 1.15, C 1.20. D 1.25. The correct answer is 1.25. The minimum center-to-center distance of friction piles of 1 m diameter is A 2 m, B 2 m to 3 m, C 3 m to 4 m, D 5 m. The correct answer is 3 m to 4 m. Over-consolidation of soils is caused due to A. Erosion of overburden, B. Melting of ice sheets after glaciation, C. Permanent rise of water table, D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. Darcys law is applicable to seepage if a soil is A. Homogeneous, B. Isotropic, C. Incompressible, D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. Depending upon the properties of a material, the failure envelope may A. Be either straight or curved, B. Pass through the origin of stress, C. Intersect the shear stress axis, D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. A stratum of clay 2 m thick will get consolidated 80 in 10 years. For the 80 consolidation of 8 m thick stratum of the same clay, the time required is A. 100 years, B. 120 years, C. 140 years, D. 160 years. The correct answer is 160 years. The maximum net pressure intensity causing shear failure of soil is known A. Safe bearing capacity, B. Net safe bearing capacity, C. Net ultimate bearing capacity, D. Ultimate bearing capacity. The correct answer is net ultimate bearing capacity. The compression resulting from a long-term static load and consequent escape of pore water is known as A. Compaction, B. Consolidation, C. Swelling, D. None of these. The correct answer is consolidation. Soil classification of composite soils exclusively based on the particle size distribution is known A. Particle classification, B. Textural classification, C. Highway Research Board classification, D. Unified soil classification. The correct answer is textural classification. The coefficient of curvature for a well-graded soil must be between A. 0.5 to 1.0, B. 1.0 to 3.0, C. 3.0 to 4.0, D. 4.0 to 5.0. The correct answer is 1.0 to 3.0. Fundamental relationship between dry density D, specific gravity G, water content and percentage of air voids Na is AD, BD, CD, DD. The correct answer is D. A moist soil sample weighing 108 g has a volume of 60 cc. If water content is 25 and value of G 2.52, the void ratio is A. 0.55, B. 0.65, C. 0.75, D. 0.80. The correct answer is 0.75. The shear resistance of a soil is constituted basically of the following component: A. The frictional resistance to translocation between the individual soil particles at their contact point. B. To the structural relation to displacement of the soil because of the interlocking of the particles. C. Cohesion and adhesion between the surfaces of the soil particles. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above.